match day today, and I've got to say, for some reason, I'm more confident today than I was against Fulham, going into the Fulham game, which is weird. I don't know why that would be. You know, London rivals and all the rest of it. West London, two West London teams, I don't know. They just got a really good look of a good balanced team, Fulham. And, yeah, Chelsea, we can be a bit of a bogey team for Chelsea. Maybe that's got something to do with it. But I really wanted to talk about, I think, Mohammed Kudus, and particularly the left-hand side with Emerson as well, because it's really quite clear what West Ham are trying to do at the moment, which is basically use Mohammed Kudus to cross, to dribble and cross. So if you go and look at the stats from the Fulham game, and I'm not a great man for stats, I find them a little bit boring, but Mohammed Kudus had by far the most crosses of anyone else, attempted crosses and completed crosses of anyone else in the West Ham team. To the point where I think there were only, aside from him, there were only two other completed crosses, one from Emerson and one from Jarrod Bowen. It was Kudus, really completing most of the crosses there. Also, he had more completed dribbles than the rest of the team put together. My point is, what he was being asked to do was really, really clear. And stats can often be misleading, but I think the stats test also matches up with the eye test, with what you're seeing. And I think my point is that it's just not working. And we're not seeing that chemistry down the left-hand side, as I've argued before. And we know what that looks like, because we've seen it last season. We know what good chemistry down that left-hand side looks like. We saw it with Paqueta and we saw it with Emerson. And they're just not gelling down there. And I don't think any of it is working, actually, in that half of the pitch. And I had a little think about it, actually. I started thinking about our goals this season. So if you think about the first goal against Aston Villa, the ball came in from Paqueta, but Paqueta was on the right. And it was a penalty, if you remember. So Souček won it in the box. He did the chest down. It was Matty Cash, I think, that fouled him. But the ball came over from the right, and that was Paqueta that did that. If you think about, from that side of the pitch, I'm going to argue the point that nothing's coming down the left. I think if you think of the closest we're going to get is the Crystal Palace goal, but that was Max Kilman dribbling out from left centre-back. Then you're going to really hard to make the case that goal has come from the left wing, right? Jarrod Bowen, great goal, don't get me wrong, but it's not an example of the left side functioning. The other goal in the game was, it was a scramble goal. It was Thomas Souček's finish. And if you remember, Wan-Bissaka did really well. Do you remember Wan-Bissaka went on that run and he stopped? He turned in, passed the ball inside. It was all down the right-hand side. Went in, a little bit of scramble, a little bit of pinball in there. Füllkrug tried a little summit. Didn't work out. And then Souček, beautiful, really nice finish. But again, it was created down that left-hand side. I think then you look at the, if you look at the Bournemouth game, if you want, the League Cup game, scramble, but yeah, it sort of came through the middle, didn't pass over the top. Again, a bit of pinball, and and it was a messy goal, but it was Bowen. It came from the right-hand side. Man City was Ruben Diaz who scored the goal, but it came from the right-hand side. Driving run from Jarrod Bowen, a ball across and deflected into the goal. And on it goes. You get what I'm saying here. Danny Ings, same again. Bowen down the right-hand side. It came from the right-hand side. I'm making the point here, somewhat bludgeoningly, that it's just not working, that left-hand side. He needs to find some chemistry there. I think he's got one more throw of the dice, basically. And I think if Füllkrug starts today, which maybe he will, maybe he won't, I don't know. But if he does, I think he's got one more throw of the dice of doing it, which is, let's have a go of this. Mohammed Kudus, that left-hand side, trying to get some service in from there. Because there will come a point where you think, okay, it's not working. You can only sort of move the component pieces around so much up front. I think it might get to a point where we've tried all the forwards and combinations of them, an attacking midfielder or a forward up with Souček, and maybe Bowen's been in there a bit, and so on and so forth. Antonio's played and Füllkrug's played, and if we keep trying that, and then what's actually happened is we're not getting any goals or any assists from that left-hand side. And in particular, I think Mohammed Kudus, then I think we've probably got a little bit of, not a problem on our hands, but something that needs functioning. We can't go through the whole season being unbalanced like that. I'm sure they know it. They've got to have access to all the statistics, and they're going to see. They're going to see when they look at their heat maps or whatever they look at when they get into the video analytics room. They're going to see that we're really, really heavy down one side. And I remember Kevin Nolan saying last season that it was in an interview. I think he did an interview on TalkSport, or he was sometimes going to the studio, wouldn't he? And he was saying on there, well, the reason we put Lucas Paqueta over there is because of his chemistry, because of his combination with Emerson there. I think sometimes you just got to be a little bit pragmatic. And whilst it might not fit the tactics, I think what we would gain by putting Mohammed Kudus into a better position probably outweighs whatever we're trying to do on that left-hand side, which I don't really think it's working. Maybe that is the tactic. Maybe we're not meant to create too much down there, and that's meant to be slightly more solid side defensively. But I find that hard that would be the case. I think you'd have to go a long way to argue that with me, because why would you even play Mohammed Kudus there? And at the end of the day, what will have really changed from what was often happening not so much last season before, where we were playing a holding winger in there in terms of Pablo Fornals. Anyway, a couple of things I do want to also discuss, namely Todibo. But before I do, please make sure you got your match bingo cards in for today. The link is in the description below if you haven't done it. If you haven't downloaded it yet, what you've been doing? You've missed out. You could have won yourself some money. We've had so many winners on Hammers Chat. You know we do, because they pop up in the chat. I would say join myself and Gio for the build-up show, but I won't be there. I'm going to be at the game. But join Gio for the build-up show. He'll talk about match bingo, and there'll be people in that chat who say, yeah, actually, I won 50 quid, I won 100 quid, I won 25 quid, because you know what? It's a really, really easy game to play. It's low stakes, so it doesn't cost you a fortune, and we've got a deal for you today. But before I tell you about the deal, let me just explain what it is. It's like a bingo card. Normally you'd have a bingo card that have a load of numbers on it. Instead of numbers, there's footballing incidents that got to happen. Easy stuff. Goal kick, a throw-in, kick-off, easy stuff like that. But then there'll be other more difficult sorts, like somebody to have a shot, a person on the team to have a shot with his left foot, or something like that. There's basically 15 incidents to happen throughout the game, and as each incident happens, bing, it ticks one off. You don't have to tick it off. The app will do it for you. And basically it pays out for the first person to get one line, then you get another line, a second line, then you get paid out for a full house, and then there's a bonus pot as well. There's a lot of prizes up for grabs. Best thing is, it's only £2 per play, but we've got an offer for you for Hammers Chat, which is basically, if you go into a new go and click on the West Ham v Chelsea game, buy yourself 3 tickets, which is £6, you get 5 tickets. Basically, you get £10 worth of tickets. Check it out. Links in the description below. Match Bingo. Been great sponsors of Hammers Chat, and we thank them very, very much indeed. Todibo, Jean-Claire Todibo. We've got it's time. Would you agree? It's time for him to. It's not time for him to step up. Makes it sound like he's not been pulling his weight or doing anything, but I think it is time. I certainly want to see him. Sometimes I've been overcritical over the years, over-analytical of the fact that we look slow. For years, I thought West Ham looked slow and old and didn't have any pace. And I thought, listen, despite our crappy old defence last season, I did think last season we'd really started to address that. I thought bringing Kudus into the team really gave an extra bit of pace in there. But I never understood why we played a counter-attacking tactics but didn't have that many quick players in there. But I must say, whilst obviously Kudus is still in the team, I think we've looked a little bit slow this season, truth be known. And I think that plays into it two ways. Firstly, it's hard to look quick when you've got someone like Guido Rodriguez and even Edson Alvarez, who I've praised highly. I think Edson Alvarez is going to be key today against Chelsea, and I think I'm pretty certain he's going to have a really good game. But it's hard to look quick with them in the team, so you're looking for pace elsewhere. Emerson's a decent player, but he's not fast, he's not rapid, is he? So I think you're looking to get as much in pace in the team as possible. When you're going to start to play this high line, you're going to need a bit of pace. Now, Kilman is not fast off the mark, but when he gets into his running, he's quick. But he's got that explosive acceleration. I think it was really, really clear how I think Mavropanos struggled a little bit with that high line. Now, not all of that was pace. Some of that was actually intensity and I don't want to say desire, because I don't want to accuse any West Ham player not wanting it, but it's no good. It's no good being fast if you're not switched on. So I just think you may well find that Todibo is better suited to what Lopetegui's going to try and do in terms of his defensive high line. We're going to obviously try and win the ball higher up the pitch, which is the point of the high line. But also, I'd seen, having watched his highlight reel, and you've got to remember, Todibo is somebody that played for Barcelona. We managed to persuade him not to go to Juventus. Big clubs wanted him. You watch his highlight reel, you watch what he can do. He's got a really, really good range of long passing. The right to left pass. We got the left to right sorted out with his teammate. I just think you may well find that he unlocks more of Lopetegui's tactics. And I think that's important. The same thing that I said about David Moyes. You're going to play counter-attacking, commit to it, do it. If you're going to do it, play the goalkeeper that throws it out quickly, play some fast players up front or in the wings, some that can get down that pitch quickly and actually play the game. If what Lopetegui wants to do is have really, sudden switches of play, then get your long passes on there. Do that. Commit to your tactic. I think he'll have been stung. I really do think Lopetegui would have been stung by certainly the first half performance against Fulham. But, whilst it's annoying for us as fans, and I can only really speak for myself, I was quite annoyed with the performance against Fulham. He's been in football long enough to know that he'll think that's a valuable away point. And it is. A point away from home is always good. There's no doubt about that at all. I've never minded the respect the point with away games. I absolutely think so. I think it's when you're going to play someone crap like last season, like with Sheffield United, and not respect the point. Don't try and play against teams like that and respect the point at home. No, try and win the games at home, respect the point away from home. I've got no problem doing that at all. Home games have been a little bit difficult. 2 Champions League teams. And, you could argue, I know Chelsea are in the Conference League, that Chelsea have got the quality to be a Champions League team. So maybe our home games haven't particularly fallen for us, but I still think we have to go and win them. And I think we will. And I think we did. I think we did try to beat Manchester City. I really do. I know, people say, there was a lot different and the scoreline was the same. I definitely felt like we went for it. We didn't. In the end, their quality was so good, they forced us back, and then we had to go again. But we started that game really brightly. I think we're going to do the same again today. If you go into the game, enjoy it. It's going to be... I like it. I don't mind the early kickoff on a Saturday. I really don't, because it gives you time to get back and watch the boxing, which is exactly what I am going to be doing. So, enjoy the day. Hopefully, we're talking about a West Ham win. I'll be back. Well, you'll see me later on, because I'll do a little video from outside the stadium, or just at the bottom of the stairs inside the stadium, something like that. Give you my opinions afterwards. Don't forget to join Gio for the build-up show. Join the boys for the watch-along if you're not going to the game, of course. And, of course, don't forget to get your match bingo cards.